Enzo Nutraceuticals has researched the properties and health benefits of enzogenol for the past 10 years, in collaboration with several laboratories and clinical scientists. Several studies have been published in the peer-reviewed scientific literature demonstrating a number of health-promoting effects of enzogenol. Canterbury University scientists have shown that enzogenol has higher antioxidant activity compared to several other extracts, including those from grapeseed and other pine barks. The first clinical study showed that enzogenol provides effective protection from oxidative stress, reducing protein oxidation and DNA damage in the body. This clinical study also showed benefits for the cardiovascular system, demonstrating healthier blood flow and reduced blood pressure. In a study on smokers, enzogenol was able to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress after only 6 weeks of treatment. A study in the US has shown how high doses of enzogenol can reduce the severity and frequency of migraine headaches. And in the most recent clinical study, enzogenol improved cognitive performance, including memory processing, attention, and concentration after only 5 weeks of treatment. I would now like to show you some of this scientific evidence in more detail. One of the critically important activities of enzogenol is its antioxidant activity. The power of enzogenol as an antioxidant has been shown in several investigations. Researchers from Canterbury University compared enzogenol to several other antioxidant vitamins and plant extracts. This study showed that enzogenol has much stronger antioxidant activity than vitamin C or catechin or maritime pine bark extract. This type of in vitro testing is carried out in a test tube. To be sure that enzogenol actually works in our body, one needs to look at the health effects in actual people. This is done in so-called clinical trials. In a clinical trial at the Christchurch Hospital in New Zealand, the Lipid and Diabetes Research Group investigated whether enzogenol can reduce oxidation in people. There were 25 people in the study taking enzogenol for 12 weeks. Blood was taken from people before and after 12 weeks on enzogenol. The blood was analyzed for DNA damage using the COMET assay. This test can distinguish between healthy cells with intact DNA and damaged cells with broken DNA. The results of this study, published in Nutrition Research, showed that enzogenol significantly improved people's oxidation status. In this graph, you can see how the DNA damage was reduced significantly in 19 of the 25 people, from the first test at baseline to the second test after taking enzogenol for 12 weeks. This means that enzogenol reduced oxidation systemically in the whole body, resulting in a lower level of overall oxidation, which means healthier cells, healthier organs, and a healthier body. In 2 clinical trials on cardiovascular health at Christchurch Hospital, scientists investigated if enzogenol could improve blood circulation and inflammation. These studies tested several parameters, including endothelial function, a measure for the elasticity of blood vessels, plasma viscosity, a measure for the thickness of the blood plasma, fibrinogen levels, a measure of systemic inflammation, and blood pressure, indicating the overall state of cardiovascular health. The results from these trials showed that endothelial function improved by up to 20% and plasma viscosity improved by 4%. Fibrinogen levels were significantly reduced in heavy smokers taking the enzogenol compared to those taking placebo. Blood pressure was measured in the cardiovascular and the brain function trials. The results from these studies showed that systolic blood pressure was reduced by up to 7 millimeters. In summary, these clinical trials showed that enzogenol can improve blood circulation and the health of your blood vessels. Enzogenol can also reduce inflammation in the body and lead to a reduction in blood pressure. In our most recent clinical study at Swinburne University in Melbourne, researchers of the Brain Sciences Institute investigated the effects of enzogenol on brain function. In this study, 42 participants took either enzogenol or a placebo for 5 weeks, and the scientists measured changes in cognitive performance and brain activities. The study was published in Phytotherapy Research in 2008. The results from this study showed that the participants taking enzogenol improved significantly over the placebo group, with a reduction in response times on particular memory tasks. This improvement was equivalent to a reduction in brain age by up to 12 years, or with other words, the normal decline of response time that happens when we get older was reversed by up to 12 years after only 5 weeks of enzogenol. The brain activity measurements in this study showed that enzogenol had a calming effect on the brain that led to increased concentration and better attention on the cognitive tasks, which explains why the participants on enzogenol performed so much better than the placebo controls. To summarize the findings of the clinical trials that I showed you, enzogenol has been shown to reduce oxidation in the body, to improve blood circulation and cardiovascular health, to reduce chronic inflammation, and to improve brain function.